Well, let's get into a little bit of the drama. The season hasn't been too crazy so far. Obviously, we can't look ahead, but thus far on Tough 9, it's been interesting. I guess a lot of people have probably asked you what exactly happened a couple of weeks ago when you no-showed your fight.
Yeah, I thought you'd get straight into that one. Yeah, I mean, okay, right. Right, what happened was, obviously, I didn't get my visa until quite late. So I flew in a little bit later than everybody else, and although it looks like we've been there for weeks and weeks, when that fight took place, we'd only been there for about 8 days, and normally I don't have a problem, but I was struggling with the jet lag a little bit. We were training 4 hours a day, 2 hours in the morning, 2 hours in the afternoon, so I was training in the morning, sleeping the whole afternoon, and then in the evenings I was wide awake, and I was up till like 4 o'clock in the morning every night, so eventually I took a couple of sleeping pills to try and get some sleep. I never take anything like that, and they certainly work because they knocked me out for about 12 hours straight. Sounds pathetic and a weak excuse, but that's actually exactly what happened. I couldn't believe it. I woke up, I looked at my watch, it was like 4 p.m. I was like, oh my God. Jumped into the car, flew down to the gym, but by the time I got there, I'd missed it. And, I felt terrible for Dean, so nothing much else to say, really. I mean, I owe Dean big time. It's a bit weak, but, that is what happened.
What time are the fights at normally?
Around about 3 p.m.
So you wake up an hour late for a fight. So what's that feeling? Because I know we've all woken up, for certain things late, but I don't know, as a trainer for a fight, that's got to be kind of a different feeling. That's kind of feel like you let someone down a little bit.
No, it felt terrible. I mean, I jumped in the car, drove down, like I said, and trying to phone straight away, trying one of my trainer's phones. But, I missed it. I mean, I felt terrible. I felt terrible for the guy, I mean, the main thing as a coach, though, to be honest, is to focus on the training, So, I mean, my job, really, as a coach was done, So the important work was done. He was trained to the best of my ability. But, yeah, I should have been there, and, I apologise. And Dean Amasinga, who was fighting, he's got a great future, and I've been helping him in the UK a lot. I've been staying in touch with him and training with him and helping him out, because, it was a shame he didn't win his fight, but, he's got a great future ahead of him.
So what'd you wind up taking? What kind of sleeping pill?
I don't know what it was. My friend gave it to me.
Uh-oh. Now, the reason I ask is, do you have to watch what you take around fight time? Like, do you have to clear out your system with something like that? Is that illegal or not? I don't even know.
Oh, no, I don't think there's a problem with sleeping pills. I mean, like I said, I don't really take them anyway.
Yeah.
But,
no, I just wonder because we just saw, Carol Parisian get popped. And
that's right.
It costs a lot of money.
Yeah.
And
I don't really take anything anyway. Yeah. As I said, I was awake till like 4 or 5 in the morning every night with my friend. I went over to, we had 2 apartments. I was in one apartment, the other trainers were in another, and I saw a light on, and I went over, and he said, here, take a couple of these. So they knocked me right out. But in terms of taking things, I mean, I don't really take many supplements or anything, so, I don't have a problem with anything like that.
So on the sleep issue, though, is that a legit concern for fighters when they come over from the UK? Or are you guys kind of jacked up and a little screwed when you fight over here?
Yeah, no, exactly. I mean, it's definitely a concern, I mean, every time I fight out in the States, I always, like, for example, July 11th when I fight Dan Henderson, that's July 11th, but I'm coming out here mid-June. I always come out about 4 weeks before because it takes a couple of weeks, to get your sleep patterns correct.
And where are you going to work when you come here?
We're not sure yet at the moment. I mean, obviously, there'll be a whole camp coming over. There'll be about, 10 of us or so. And we're still figuring that out at the moment.
Now, you mentioned apartments. We've never really gotten into this with The Ultimate Fighter, and we're talking to one of the coaches on Tough 9, and that's Michael Bisping, and, of course, big star with UFC, has a big fight coming up at UFC 100. You guys actually, so the coaches stay in what? The coach's crew, or do you get your own apartment? What kind of setup do they give you?
Yeah, no, the gym is down near the Strip, but I can't speak for the rest of the seasons, but the season I was on, obviously, we were in some apartments way out past Red Rock, about a good 30-minute drive away.
Well, that's a good idea, because believe me, here in Vegas, you don't want to be down by the Rio by the gym. You don't want to stay in those apartments. So.
No.
It's not that great there. So you got a little bit of a drive from out on the west side of town, huh?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. So you got 2 hours drive. I mean, you got 2 hours training in the morning and the afternoon,
right?
Plus like a good 30-minute drive there and back. So that's 3 hours for each training session. Then all the interviews and everything. So it's a pretty hectic schedule.
So how much free time do you actually? I mean, you're mentioning a hectic schedule. Do you know of coaches who have kind of been a little free with their time? Do you go out while you're here in Vegas while you're coaching, or is it just all work?
Well, no. I mean, The show's pretty much all-encompassing, really. To be honest, it does take a lot. Of course, you can go out for dinner or whatever with your friends. You've got to do that. You've got to blow off steam a little bit, otherwise you'll go crazy. But on the whole, the show pretty much takes up all your time.
Where'd you hang when you were here in town? What kind of places?
Wherever, just wherever,
You got to be careful that you're not seen, though. It's a weird deal with the confidentiality and all that. So I don't,
Yeah, that's right. I mean, a lot of people always want to know. I mean, even still now, people are just asking me, excuse me, what's happening with the show, the rest of it. I mean, you sign a confidentiality agreement. You're not allowed to talk about anything.
So how do you think, from watching it so far, how do you think the two teams are coming off? How do you think, first of all, you're coming off?
I think I'm coming off all right. I mean, from what I hear, I'm upsetting a few people, apparently being too cocky. But I'm just having a laugh and trying to get through my day. It's just my personality. I'm just having a laugh, trying to bust a few balls. Nothing too personal, and I think I'm coming off all right. I mean, my main concerns on there, was to be a good coach for my team, and train them to the best of my ability. And I feel I did that. On the whole, all right, I suppose. You tell me.
I think you're coming off fine. I think there has to be some flavor. I think there has to be at least one of the coaches who talks trash and gets the other team angry. I'd prefer it if both coaches did it, because I still think
that's right.
I still think the best season was Sarah and Hughes, and it's going to set up this fight coming up. But I like that kind of stuff. I think that's part of reality TV.
Yeah, that's right. It makes it interesting, I suppose.
Hendo's a little bit straight-laced, although I will say that just from watching on TV, and you tell me if I'm wrong in this, he not that he doesn't have control of the team, but it doesn't seem like they have a lot of respect for him. I thought some of the stuff a couple of weeks ago where he had to talk to him in the van was a little disrespectful on the fighter's part.
Right. I don't know. I mean, from what I saw, I mean, his team seemed to have respect for him. I mean, obviously, I can only really comment on what on what I saw.
Yeah.
And to be honest, obviously we train at different times. I only bumped into him again at the, now and again at the fights, and then just at the weigh-ins, things like that. So I didn't see too much. When I watch, I'm seeing a lot of things when I watch it on TV, but I'm sure his team had respect for him.
Yeah. Do you think they're coming off as babies a little bit, kind of? And Spike is really playing up the whole ugly American thing.
I don't know. To be honest, I mean, it's a difficult situation being in the house, So, I wouldn't say they're coming off as babies.
Okay. Was it that difficult for you in the house?
I mean, it was difficult at the time when I was in the house, but
because it was a little different for you too. I mean, you talk about culture shock. It wasn't, you with, at the beginning of the whole thing with 16 guys from the UK. I mean, it was basically you and Ross, and you guys were kind of the outsiders. And so, I mean, you could say it was actually tougher on you.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, for anyone going through the Ultimate Fighter, it's it's a difficult thing to be in, but it's a big opportunity though at the same time, So it may be a pain in the ass while you're on the show, but it's definitely worthwhile, So I was there for my family, and so it was definitely a good thing to do.